Hi, I'm going to give just a little talk today about Dada and Surrealism, the early art movements in the 20th century. And last time we talked about Cubism and Picasso and Braque and people like that who were affected by a number of movements in art like Impressionism and then motion pictures, you know, and having to compete with a picture that could move, you know, so they were changing their subject matter. And this all happened right before World War I. But then in Europe, at the time, around 1915, the world started going very crazy for a lot of people, and it was a really bloody conflict with a lot of deaths, more casualties than anywhere else. And Switzerland, a traditionally neutral country for 500 years, was actually where some of the artists went to get away from all this stuff. And some of them actually went to America, to New York. But, so Dadaism was sort of like a reaction to art and what they call bourgeois society, which is the norm and the reasonable people, because all these people said they had reasons for going into war, but they must be crazy reasons because everyone is killing everybody. The artists just saw this as mass homicide, and people were just killing everybody. Every country at war with everybody. There was, you know, if that was reasonable, then they were going to make unreasonable stuff. And also because the Cubists had opened up art to the idea too of you didn't have to do these realistic-looking things or these beautiful-looking things. They wanted to make things that were ugly and offensive and just crazy and sort of just a reaction to the world around them. So one of the famous artists was Marcel Duchamp, who was from France, and he made a artwork that was called the Ready-Made. He actually was in New York at the time, and he thought, you know, if you could call a Cubist painting a painting, then I can call anything art or anything sculpture. And so first he took a bottle rack, which was something they used to dry out bottles before they brought them to the recycling center. And then he did this urinal, which was just like a toilet, that he signed R. Mutt. Instead of his real name, he just put this fake name on, like a graffiti type name on it. And he entered this into a salon, a very respected salon of independence. And kind of caused a stir. But all this stuff was sort of a reaction to the crazy world that was going around them. And so they wanted to fight back in the only way they could. And then after the war, people started to go back to France and Paris, and there were other artists who were involved, like De Chirico, who was from Italy, and he did work that was influenced by the Freudian psychology and the idea of dreams. So instead of just doing reactionary work, they thought that they could do just unedited work, just do stream of consciousness that people were doing in poetry too. Instead of coming up with this beautiful love poem, they were going to just write whatever came to their mind, no matter how violent or sexual or you know, anti-religious it was. So he would do these scenes that were kind of illustrated of dreams, whereby people were in these strange settings, and there would be sculptures in the wrong place, upside down. There would be big hands just lying around. Things that would be in dreams, unexplainable, and not meant to describe a particular story. These different sort of illustrations, and then these things became what we call them automatic writing, automatic painting, unedited, you know, filtered. Does anybody know what this is over here?
Pipe.
That's the pipe?
Sherlock Holmes pipe.
Joe is right. Joe said this is a picture of a pipe. There's another artist. The two artists who became most popular in Surrealism were Salvador Dali, who did the soft clock, and Magritte, René Magritte from Belgium, who went to France. And he did this famous painting of a pipe, except that he wrote on the bottom, he said, you know, this is not a pipe. And this sort of stuff, except he wrote it in French. But I don't speak French, and you don't have to. So this sort of opened up a lot of avenues for conceptual art, and influenced a lot of the 20th century art after that, the pop artists. Some people thought of it as anti-art, but then other people thought of it as opening up all new avenues for amazing different kinds of sculpture and installations, people doing work that isn't just on the wall anymore, it's the whole room. So it opened up a new medium. Before we had painting and we had sculpture, and then they incorporated performance and what they called installations, where everything in the room could be incorporated as part of the artwork. And as you walk in, you know, you would be part of it too. But it all started sort of in this reactionary Dada period of craziness. And, you know, there's several theories about where the word Dada came from, but I think of it as sort of just a nonsense, silly kind of word. Though in the language, the Romanian language of Tristan Tzara, who was one of the starters, it sort of meant yes, yes, or yes, yeah, yeah, as we would say to people when they said something to us that we didn't agree with, would say, yeah, right. Like, you know, I wouldn't believe that. So you can believe this or not, but thank you very much. That's my little talk on Dada Surrealism.